on?
In the quad, everything hot, no stopping. HBCU heat, the topic popping. Bell tower rings, time to clock in. Flash stepping loud, boots be knocking. Sweat drips, dreams gripping tight. Dorm rooms alive, clubs unite. Creek let it shine, loud in the night. Pop signs wide, futures look bright. White tees, fresh sneaks, all crisp. Black and gold dreams, giving the crisp. Library pack, study hard, academic flair. Part-time jobs, grind, don't stop, busy affairs. Stand on beat, mixing horns with trap. Munch a hornets dance, snapback caps. Pep rallies, ready, spirits never lack. Thoughts and pride with style, in the swag sack. In the quad, we ain't never gonna stop. In the quad, we always on top. In the quad, feel the music drop. In the quad, roots run deep.
What's going on, HBCU family? It is Monday, March 3rd, and you are locked into a brand new episode of In the Quad with Nick Eden. Before I get into I'm going to give everybody a chance to kind of get in and get settled. I know it's been a while. It's been a month. It's literally been a month, and I'm going to explain where I've been. I'm also going to tell you this now. If you are a person who is sensitive to accountability, this ain't the show for you. If you are a person who is sensitive to language, this ain't the show for you. If you are here looking for the original format of In the Quad with the 4 main topics and the fam topics, come holler at me tomorrow, because this show ain't for you. If you are here to catch all this smoke, everything unadulterated, unfiltered, everything that's been going on, especially in this last week, to the point that I had to bring the calendar back, then this is the show for you. Now, how this is going to go is the first part of the show. We're going to be discussing the calendar. HBCU Twitter Weekly is back. I don't know if it's going to be back next week, but with everything that went on and the fact that I genuinely missed the calendar, I thought it was important to bring it back. Hold on, y'all. Okay, just making sure my mic worked. So I thought it was important to bring it back, particularly surrounding the circumstances of the past week. There are a few things that I'm going to talk about in the second part of the show that are not on the calendar, and I purposely didn't put them on the calendar, but there are things that happen and things that we need to talk about. So again, if you're sensitive, this might not be the show for you. Now, I did say when I made this announcement that the show was coming back and the calendar was coming back, that nothing was off topic, right? And of course, you know, I listen, I got everybody's questions and comments for fam topics. Some of that stuff was already baked into what was going to be into the show. I wasn't going to do the fam topic show today. Some of those things I'm going to move to tomorrow for fam topics. But I had about 5 messages on Sunday night. It was enough to at least get my attention on it. And basically the sentiment was, since nothing is off topic, are you going to talk about the situation that happened right before you stopped doing the show? Well, let me say this first. One, you're wrong. And anybody, listen, if you're on Twitter, which a good bit of you are, some of the folks that's watching on the UEN app, you don't know what I'm talking about, and that's fine. If you follow me on Twitter, it's no secret I had a very public disagreement with someone who at one point I considered a friend. And said person, I guess in their own way, thought they were exposing me for anything. Look, let me go ahead and explain this right now. When I said nothing was off limits, I should have said nothing is off limits except for one thing. And the reason that is because you will never hear that person's name mentioned on this show again. I ain't even giving it energy. It ain't worth it. And they're going to go on and they're going to do their thing and they're going to be successful at it because, you know, regardless of whatever issue we may have had, I do think that person is very, very talented, has a decent head on their shoulders. And I think they'll go on to do, you know, great things. But I ain't bringing that up because it's just not worth it. So if that's what you came for, then no. But I'd already stopped the show before that situation happened. So I wanted to bring that up specifically because of it. Let me go ahead and say this too. I did not stop doing the show because I was pledging. Y'all ain't shit. First, everybody said that the reason that I shaved my beard, and I told y'all I was going to beard back. Everybody said the reason that I shaved my beard was because I was pledging. Then it was, the reason he's not doing the show is because he's pledging. No, y'all, I am not pledging. I'm not being funny when I say this. I have, and I'm being honest with you, what I have to do is 3 things. I gotta, outside of work, right? I gotta take care of my children. I gotta pay child support, and I gotta finish school. I wish I could give y'all a salacious reason as to why I have not done the show in a month. I was sick. Now that is true. I was sick the week before last, and it took me a few days to kind of recover. I don't get sick like this often, and you can even tell, like, my voice isn't completely back. My singing voice definitely isn't back. But I've lost a bunch of weight. I ain't gonna hold you. I'm feeling good about that. Your boy done lost a bunch of weight. But Josh got my ass last night on HBCU Nightly. So I did get sick. I planned on coming back 2 weeks ago, but I got sick, and I mean like a terrible, terrible cold. But I just look. Life be lifing. Life be lifing. I'm trying to finish this master's program. I've already started doing all the application for the MBA program at State. Life be lifing. And again, I'm a father. I got one child in college and I got a 9-year-old, and it's Girl Scout season. I was out there slinging cookies. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it just is what it is. That's life. Life just happens. So, no, I didn't do the show for a month. And I got so much speculation. Oh, he left the network. He got ran off, and he this, he that. Y'all Negroes could not run me off if you tried. Want to know why? Because at the end of the day, I was doing the calendar just for fun. You think I'm gonna run off from a bag? Y'all were giving me smoke for the calendar for fun. And you think I'm gonna run out away from a bag? No, that's not how it's gonna go. So again, I want to make sure that everything is addressed. Somebody's gonna ask, as always, what am I wearing? Shout out to Gulfport High. Shout out to my alma mater. I represent Gulfport, Mississippi. But yeah, look, folks are gonna have their opinions on things, and it's all good. But the reality is, I actually did miss doing this. I did. I really did miss doing this. And you know, I wanted to make sure that when I came back with a bang, not just pop up with a regular old show, and then y'all like, Ninja, that's what we've been waiting on for a month. So that being said, we're gonna take a quick 30-second break, and we're gonna shout out our sponsor, Skool.com. And when we come back, we get right into the calendar. Welcome to Skool.com, the all-in-one platform for creators and educators to grow communities and deliver courses effortlessly. With Skool, you can combine learning, engagement, and progress tracking in one simple space. No more juggling tools, just focus on teaching and connecting. Ready to start? Scan the QR code to unlock special perks and join thousands already thriving with Skool. All right, y'all. Shout out to Skool.com. Shout out to Skool.com. Shout out to Skool.com. Listen, if you're looking to take some courses, Skool.com. If you're looking to sell some courses, Skool.com. It's a lot more stable than Hillman Talk. We'll have to talk about that another day. That was probably the most epic crash out I've ever seen. 2 weeks and they were crashed out completely. Y'all, the HBCU Twitter weekly calendar is back. And this may just be for this week. I don't know yet. I don't know. We'll see. But at least for right now, it's back. And there was a whole bunch of things going on. And look, I'm a little rusty. In fairness. So I got my notes and I got some stuff on here that, you know, that we're going to talk about a little bit later. But let's hop right into it. Y'all, hey, I don't know what the hell y'all was on. I don't. This week, something serious. Y'all wasn't playing around. Let's get into it. And as always, don't forget, I'm going to drop this. Let me get right over here. I'm gonna drop this on Twitter right after the show. So just make sure y'all stay tuned. But let's go ahead and get started with Sunday. On Sunday, again, y'all, I'm a little rusty, so y'all gotta forgive me. But on Sunday, shout out to Howard Bison. Shout out to Howard University. Howard got, where did I miss it? Where is it? Oh, yeah. So Howard, which is the only HBCU in the nation with an NCAA Division I swim program. They have once again made history. On Sunday, February 23rd, Howard Bison men's swimming and diving team clinched the Northeast Conference Championship title for the second time in 3 years. It was a 4-day competition in Geneva, Ohio. And look, the Bison stayed in the lead the entire time. And look, man, y'all talk all that smack, bro. Y'all talk all that smack about, oh, no, Howard ended. Listen, these sports be killing it. These schools be killing it in other sports. Trust me, I know. People like to talk about Bama State, but there's a reason. I think we snatched up, like 8 championships in like 2 weeks, just a couple weeks ago. So shout out to Howard, man. Shout out to Howard. And shout out, let me explain something to y'all. I thoroughly believe in my heart of hearts that Livingstone College has a sugar daddy. I believe it. Because Livingstone on Monday announced that they got another anonymous donation for $10 million. Now they just this past fall, they got $3 million in the summer. That's the check you see on the graphic. They got another $10 million. So like basically in the last 2 years, Livingstone has gotten $40 million anonymously. Hey, look, Nate, I need that money, Nate. Yo, these donations are coming in like feds, man. Shout out to them for that, because I ain't gonna hold you. Everybody could use a little extra ducats right now. And look, I don't know what Livingstone got to do. I'm hoping and praying that, this is just out of the goodness of their heart. And I'm not being funny when I say that, only because we've seen these situations play out before. But I'm hoping and praying that ain't nobody getting their cheeks clapped for that 10 million. Y'all, we're gonna take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're gonna be into our HBCU Twitter week calendar, because it's getting spicy the later the week goes on. It's in the quad with Nick Eden.
Now Taxes is getting the TurboTax app and filing your taxes yourself 100% free if you didn't file with us last year. Pay $0 when you file by 2/18. All tax forms, all 100% free. Now this is taxes. File free in the app by 2/18. When you switch to TurboTax, do it yourself.
Hey, I have a fever.
I don't feel so good either.
This is not just 1 hour delivery. This is fast relief for those who can't take a time out. Walgreens.
Welcome to School.com, the all-in-one platform for creators and educators to grow communities and deliver courses effortlessly. With School, you can combine learning, engagement, and progress tracking in one simple space. No more juggling tools, just focus on teaching and connecting. Ready to start? Scan the QR code to unlock special perks and join thousands already thriving with School.
Something amazing is happening here. In a world of data, people are accessing critical information quickly and securely. That's because CDW architects are building infrastructures with unified data storage from NetApp. With the flexibility to run workloads across any environment, providers experience less downtime, giving them more time with patients. Make amazing happen. NetApp and CDW.
November is American Diabetes Month, but we're not here to celebrate it. Join us and move us closer to a cure. Someday, we can celebrate. Until then, we fight.
All right, y'all, 18 minutes after the hour, you are locked into a brand new episode of In the Quad with Nick Eden. We are right in the middle of our HBCU Twitter Weekly calendar review. And let's get over to Tuesday. Hey, man, listen, before I pull this graphic up, let me say this. It's a few people I want to shout out. I want to shout out Live for Hoops. Live for Hoops was in Baltimore for the CIAA basketball tournament this week, last week, and did a phenomenal job, phenomenal coverage. If I'm not mistaken, she was 100% right on her predictions for the outcome of the tournament. And if I'm wrong, if you want to prove me wrong, all you got to do is, if you're watching this on YouTube, or if you're not on YouTube, head to the HBCU Plus YouTube. You will see her predictions at the beginning of the week going into the tournament. I got texts from people who had never been to HBCUs. They were just like, look, I'm up here. This is a great event. This is some Black excellence. And I don't think anybody was happier than Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott. Because when I tell you, they rolled out the red carpet. He primped and primed that afro, and he welcomed them to Ray's Boom Boom Room because, baby, they said Baltimore was on fire for CIAA, and they wanted to stay there for years and years to come. I was supposed to be up there. I don't talk about that. I was supposed to be up there, but I'm telling you now, I'm going to be in Baltimore next year. Just so we're clear. I'm supposed to be there, and then it's just like the timing of everything, like everybody having their basketball tournaments at the same time. But I will see y'all next year up there. But shout out to our favorite HBCU Plus correspondent, Live for Hoops, for the work that she did. Please make sure that you're following her on Instagram at Live for Hoops, on Twitter at Live for Hoops, and please make sure you absorb the content that she has there, as well as what we have here on the channel. So, but yeah, they said it was Black excellence personified. What was not Black excellence personified? Listen, I understand the intent. I 100% understand when you're trying to bring awareness to HBCUs. I can't find what the hell I was looking for. All right, well, we'll see in a minute, or the computer will go dead. I appreciate the intent. The young man, there was a young man, shout out to him, who put up a list of closed HBCUs, and he was like, yo, look what they took from us. There was like 5 or 6 of them on there that he was incorrect about. That wasn't the problem. The problem was this dude right here. Not a single HBCU is named or honored after a Black person, not one. Never mind Morris College, never mind Langston University, never mind Bethune-Cookman, never mind, like literally everybody, never mind J.F. Drake, never mind Trenton State Technical College, never mind, like, bro, it don't take but a second to Google. I don't expect everybody to know every single thing about every single HBCU, because I learn every day, right? One of the things I talked about was how last year in particular, mainly through watching HBCU Nightly, I learned so much that I did not know about the MEAC, right? Because I didn't go to a MEAC school. And, the other HBCUs that I, would go and visit, more often than not, were not in the MEAC, right? With the exception of FAMU at the time. And I stayed my Black ass in Tallahassee. Like, that just was, that was what it was. A couple of times over in Bethune, but, outside of FAMU, I didn't really go. So, I mean, you asked me about SIAC, you asked me about SWAC, you asked me about what was then Gulf Coast Athletic Conference, now HBCU UAC. Sure, I could tell you about pretty much all those schools. I couldn't tell you jack shit about the MEAC. So I don't know everything. But this was, all dude had to do was Google. Now, I guess he was a little sensitive as to how people came at him. And that is what it is. It's online. But you came out with a really bold statement. There were some people. So shout out to folks like Jen. Shout out to my sis Jen, who actually took the time to educate him. And, I don't have that patience. I'll be honest with you. I don't have that patience. But he did say, he deleted the post. He was, and to his credit, he was like, I was wrong. I was misinformed. I just don't like seeing what they took from us, which again, I understand. But my brother, shit. Like, just Google, Bing, Yahoo search, ask Jeeves, something. Anyway, so the brother needed to maybe sit back and smoke a tree or two. And speaking of smoking trees or two, let me say something. Now, the story is blowing up today. The story is blowing up today because a lot of outlets have picked up on it, but they actually announced it last Thursday. My alma mater, Alabama State University. Oh, mother dear. Shout out to ASU. ASU is the first HBCU to officially roll out a cannabis certificate program. You ain't have to we had this discussion last night on HBCU Nightly. You were in the chat with me. You ain't have to put me out like that. But listen, Ask Jeeves was ChatGPT before ChatGPT. But so my Alabama State, noticing the trend, knowing where it's coming from, They said, look, we are going to offer a cannabis certificate program. I could not be more ecstatic about this. I have been a long critic of how the rollout of marijuana legalization has gone because Black people, and I'm telling you something right now, I'm not saying people of color, Black people have bore the brunt of the legal ramifications of cannabis in this country. The state of Mississippi has locked up so many Black men and women for cannabis use or for cannabis selling. Meanwhile, it's been decriminalized in the state of Mississippi since 1973. And why is that? Because Ole Miss has a sole federal contract for marijuana growth. When you look at, and even with all that, we still didn't get medical marijuana in the state of Mississippi until 2019. You got it in 2015 in Louisiana, and then they shut out every Black distributor from being able to come in. So we're talking about $1 billion industry that we are constantly being shut out of, even though it's a $1 billion industry based on our backs. So I could not be more excited for Alabama State to launch this cannabis certificate program. I want personally for it to become a full-on degree program. Right now it's a certificate program. I want to say a certificate. I think if it goes in with the rest of ASU's continuing education and the ASU Global Campus, I want to say it's a self-paced one, but you have like 5 to 6 months to complete it, something like that. But I'll get some more information on it. But yeah, and I want to see other schools adopt it. And I want us to see, because I'm tired of us being behind the 8 ball on things when we could be in front of it. You know, I look at something like crypto. I'm not a heavy crypto investor, but I know several of them. And I look at it from a situation where we're still having a conversation in the Black community about should we be involved in crypto. Meanwhile, schools like UCLA, MIT, USC, they've got full-on mining degree programs in crypto. They are teaching you how to be on the back end of it. They are y'all, it's time out for it. So shout out to Alabama State, Big Bama State. Shout out to y'all for the certificate program. I think everybody should look into it. It teaches you about the business side of cannabis. And look, hey, we got to get more of us involved in that. Now, speaking of cannabis and speaking of how high were we when it was decided that the Southern Heritage Classic was coming back? What in the absolute hell? Who asked for this? Who asked for this? So, and listen, this is nothing against any alums or the programs at Alcorn State or at UAPB, but let's be honest, nobody asked for this. We really thought, hey, listen, this is going to be gone. It deserves to be gone. And let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. The matchup itself, I feel like, should survive. There should be a game between Jackson State and Tennessee State. That is the truth. Whether that's home and home, whether it's another classic, I'm sorry, y'all. We see the numbers. We see the numbers. We know JSU folks are going to travel. We know Tennessee State folks are going to travel within reason. They're just not going to go to the home game. But when they're playing some Negroes, they're going to travel and go see it. That is a game that should be played. The business of the Southern Heritage Classic was just wrong. I don't care if you agree with Deion Sanders or not. If you follow my calendar, if you follow my show, Lord knows I've had my share of issues with Deion Sanders over the years, but he wasn't wrong about the business being wrong. And I'm trying to think of it, for you to up the ante only $50,000 and offer that to Tennessee State, I see why they pulled out of it. But nobody, I'm not being funny when I say this. Nobody's going to Memphis to see Alcorn versus UAPB. Nobody. You got the hardcore Alcorn fans, sure. UAPB folks don't show up like that. And again, it's nothing against the institution. It's just the truth. They don't show up like that. And now you're talking about, we're going to put these two together. You might have been better off. I ain't going to hold you. You might have been better off if you couldn't get Tennessee State to do it. You might have been better off with UAPB and, well, not UAPB. I'm sorry. You'd have been better off with Alcorn and Alabama A&M. Now that's the truth. That's the truth. You'd have been better off scheduling Alcorn and UAP and Alabama A&M, or Alcorn and Alabama State. But I think the thing is, there were a lot of schools, from my understanding, not confirmed, from my understanding, there were several other schools before Alcorn and UAPB that they reached out to, and they were like, no, that's not enough money, fam. Not that we know how much money you're pulling in for this. I've heard that too, Paris. JSU's been trying to get out of that classic for years, but unfortunately we had incompetent leadership before A.D. Robinson. I've heard that too. It was not, and yes, the money was funny. And I'm not being funny. And I think now more than ever, I think we're at a point where people are like, look, I'm not going to do anything like that for the embarrassment of it. Like, people don't even want to be shamed into this anymore. You get what I'm saying? Like, okay, think about it like this. There's a question even about the money with this. Birmingham is the in-between point between Huntsville and Montgomery. The Magic City Classic is the biggest classic in HBCU sports. From a pure attendance standpoint, it is. I don't give a damn if y'all don't like that or not. And I grew up on the Bayou Classic. I love the Bayou Classic. But from a pure number standpoint, it's the biggest one. If Alabama A&M and Alabama State are not coming an hour and a half each to Birmingham for over $1 million, what the hell makes you think if I'm at Jackson State, I'm going to drive to Memphis for $400,000? That don't make no sense, especially because you shot yourself in the foot by saying, oh, well, this is how much it costs. This is the economic impact it has on the city. And between the two schools, the payout is less than $1 million? Man, you crazy as hell. It's not going to happen. So, hey, listen, whoever goes, shout out to them. And speaking of Alabama A&M, just got to say, on Saturday, yes, it came at the expense of my Lady Hornets, but shout out to Coach Don Thornton, Coach Diva, and the Lady Bulldogs at Alabama A&M for a historic 20th win on the season today. They definitely got, and listen, again, objectively speaking, I said on this very show a month and a half ago, I said this season is Alabama A&M's to take. It's Alabama A&M to take. And to the point that even Plies, with them big ass teeth, actually tweeted it out. Now, that being said, I don't want to rain on it. I don't want to rain on anybody's parade, because I said it before, I say it again. Coach Don Thornton is one of my favorite coaches at HBCU's, period. Not just a swag. Love everything that she's doing. I think she's doing a phenomenal job, and I think she's going to do nothing but a phenomenal job. Now, the men team, which is why, because let me just go ahead and say this, A&M, shout out to y'all on the 20th win, but I want you to realize, and let me put this comment up first. Look, Coach Brady has been at Bama State for 27 years. Had the pleasure of meeting her on a few occasions. Think she's a nice woman, but I think it's time to go in another direction. Because let's be real about something. A&M, your 20th win. Y'all are on fire. The Lady Hornets were up by what, 7 points at the half? And at the end, y'all beat them by 11 points. You beat a 4-win team by 11 points. I'm just saying. Now on the men's side, Otis, ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis. Alabama A&M and get rid of you. Baby, y'all lost. Listen, I hate to take away. I hate to take away anything. Like, I don't want to take any phrases from Jackson State. But this was quite literally Bama State by 40. 42, if I'm being specific. Otis, you got to go. You got to go. Because I'm going to say this much, and y'all not going to see me just caping for Alabama A&M way too much, but I will say this. As an institution, there is a trajectory that Dr. Wims is taking Alabama A&M, and that's institutionally, athletically. It's not going to be too much more room for performances like that, especially with a rival. What do you think? I'm going to say this before I go to commercial break. And I want y'all to think about this. Just put it this way. How do you think A.D. Robinson at Jackson State would react to Mo Williams losing to Alcorn State in basketball by 42 points? Think about that. Y'all, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, put the kids to bed. If your parents are sensitive, tell them to go and do something else. Because when we come back, finna get the smoke. It's In the Quad with Nick Eden.
Welcome to School.com, the all-in-one platform for creators and educators to grow communities and deliver courses effortlessly. With School, you can combine learning, engagement, and progress tracking in one simple space. No more juggling tools, just focus on teaching and connecting. Ready to start? Scan the QR code to unlock special perks and join thousands already thriving with School.
Now Taxes is getting the TurboTax app and filing your taxes yourself 100% free if you didn't file with us last year. Pay $0 when you file by 2/18. All tax forms, all 100% free. Now this is taxes. File free in the app by 2/18. When you switch to TurboTax, do it yourself.
Hey, I have a fever.
I don't feel so good either.
This is not just 1 hour delivery. This is fast relief for those who can't take a time out. Walgreens.
Something amazing is happening here. In a world of data, people are accessing critical information quickly and securely. That's because CDW architects are building infrastructures with unified data storage from NetApp. With the flexibility to run workloads across any environment, providers experience less downtime, giving them more time with patients. Make amazing happen. NetApp and CDW.
November is American Diabetes Month, but we're not here to celebrate it. Join us and move us closer to a cure. Someday, we can celebrate. Until then, we fight.
All right, y'all. 40 minutes after the hour. Welcome back to In the Quad with Nick Eden. All right, y'all. Let's put the kiddos to bed. And let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and get into it. First thing I want to do, let me go ahead and acknowledge this. Andy Stone passed away on her way to the CIAA tournament. If y'all don't know, like, one of the more consistent R&B singers, R&B soul singers of the year. Been connected to people like Calvin Richardson, Joe, D'Angelo. She's a member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. I had to check myself on this today, to be honest, because I have not spoken on it publicly. I said a prayer when I found out it happened, blessing her soul, blessing her family, asking for, strength and everything. But to be honest with y'all, I had a personal issue with Angie Stone that goes back about 15 years. And I have not spoken to or about Angie Stone in about 15 years. And so I didn't want to be one of those ones that's like, I see people that will speak on stuff knowing that they didn't really vibe with that person, or no, it just kind of seemed performative. But I had to check myself, because at the end of the day, it was, regardless of an issue that I'm still holding on to. I'm still holding on to an issue from damn near 2 decades ago on something that she probably didn't think about past a couple of days after that. So that's something I had to check myself on. And even in a situation like that, you never want it to be a situation where that affects, wishing well or speaking positively on things she did. She's a phenomenal soul singer. Paved the way for a lot of people, especially at that time, somebody like myself who was trying to make it in a range where I wasn't a mainstream singer, right? But someone like Angie Stone knocked down doors that I was able to capitalize. So regardless of what went on, it doesn't take away from the fact that she's still a pioneer in this business, a giant in this business, helped put on a lot of people, and just in a human aspect, I just had to check myself on. So I wanted to acknowledge that publicly. I wanted to acknowledge publicly that I have and will continue to pray for her family, as well as other people who were involved in the crash. And that, like, what else can you say? Speaking of that, no, I'm gonna hold that one off for a second. Let's go to something positive here. I want to shout out former FAMU AD Tiffany Dawn Sykes for her new gig at her alma mater, Virginia State University. I said back in October of last year, when she got her other gig, that wherever Tiffany Dawn Sykes ended up, she was going to shine. And that's what she did. And then she made her way back I knew she wasn't going to stay away from HBCUs. I knew she wasn't going to stay away long. And she went back. She went back home. And I think it's a phenomenal thing. I think she's going to shine at Virginia State. I think she's happy. I think it's something about being at home. I'd say the last year or so, maybe 5 or 6 of my classmates from Bama State have gone back to work for the university, and the joy that they have, the joy that they feel, like, I get it, man. I get it. Like I get it. In a different world, in a different situation, I would be looking to go back. As I continue this higher ed track, I'd be looking to go back to Bama State because I love it that much, right? So it's always great when somebody's able to go home and able to continue the work that they do, that they're good at, and shout out to her. You had some people who took the opportunity to speak down once again. I talked about this. Specifically Rattler Nation blog. And I'm going to go ahead and say this. I don't give a I don't give a fuck who it is that's behind that account. I don't. Some people saying, oh, it's Vaughn, and some people saying, oh, it's Chris. Some people say, I don't care. That's some weak shit. Hear me and understand me. It's weak for you to get behind a Twitter account. You're not even man enough or woman enough to show your face. Because my thing is, people criticize the things that I say, but wait, let me tell you where I've never said them from. Never said them from a troll account. Anything I've had to say has been from at Nick Eden on Twitter, on IG, Facebook, on YouTube. You see it, you hear it, it's live in living color. I have no respect for someone who gets, and let me just go ahead and, because it's not just them. I have no respect for anybody who gets behind a faceless account and decides that, oh, okay, we're going to get, no, stand on what you say. Stand on what you say. And it ain't just Twitter. You have people that created whole fake accounts. Ask some of the folks that, it's people in, ask Paris about some of those fake troll accounts in Ritz. Stand on what you say. Be man enough or woman enough to stand on what you say. That's exactly what it is, Paris. That's exactly what it is. It's weak. It's weak. And I don't want to just put it on one school, but I ain't gonna lie. FAMU, y'all gotta check some of y'all folks, because y'all got more faceless accounts. And Jackson State, you're not far behind. You're not far behind. But FAMU got more faceless accounts talking shit about, if y'all are, if you really moved on, why are you worried about what Tiffany Dawn Sykes is doing? And then here's the part that trips me out. You get on these faceless accounts and you talk all that rah-rah, but then you be attacking women. You're a grown man attacking a woman. Now, before anybody references this, I'll reference it myself. Because somebody can clearly, look, I told y'all I ain't avoiding nothing. Somebody will clearly say, well, Nick, weren't you attacking such and such a couple of weeks ago? No, I wasn't attacking. I was actually defending. I wasn't talking to that girl to save my life. I was on a whole nother thread. If you come at me, I'm going to say something. That's just what it is. But that's not what these guys are doing. Y'all getting in these fake accounts, and you got all the smoke in the world. And then what's funny is, when it's a game, when it's a classic, when it's an event, you're not keeping that same energy. It's plenty of y'all I've already told, hey, come and find me. At least with dude from FAMU that I had an issue with, he said it with his chest from his account. I can respect that. He still got to see me. But I can respect that. I cannot respect weak-ass people who decide they're going to make it their life's work. What are you doing during the day? Do you work? Are you in school? Did you even graduate from the institution? Did you even attend the institution? Because I'm not the person that likes to dig at people who didn't graduate. So all I'm saying is, look, y'all different. Listen, good, bad, I stand on everything I've ever said. I'll apologize when I'm wrong. I'm not finna sit here and stalk somebody just for the sake of you. Okay, you didn't like her performance at FAMU, but you're sure reaping the benefits of it with that basketball hire, are you not? You damn sure reaping the benefits of one of the best FAMU basketball seasons in years. And that was her hire. Y'all were ready to fire Tiffany Dawn Sykes behind the whole thing with, oh yeah, we bringing in Sean Gibbs and we want Cozy, that didn't work out too well because y'all were calling for him and his staff to be fired in the latter part of the season. But this is not a dig at FAMU thing. This is definitely a dig at those faceless accounts. Because what I will say is the Rattlers that I know, they're going to stand on what they say, and they're going to stand behind it with their actual faces. And they're the same person in person or online. But these faceless accounts, yeah, this you got to go. Anyway, y'all, we're going to take another commercial break. Hopefully these sirens are going to be done. By the time we get back, it's In the Quad with Nick Eden.
November is American Diabetes Month, but we're not here to celebrate it. Join us and move us closer to a cure. Someday, we can celebrate. Until then, we fight.
Now Taxes is getting the TurboTax app and filing your taxes yourself 100% free if you didn't file with us last year. Pay $0 when you file by 2/18. All tax forms, all 100% free. Now this is Taxes. File free in the app by 2/18. When you switch to TurboTax, do it yourself.
Hey, I have a fever.
I don't feel so good either.
This is not just 1 hour delivery. This is fast relief for those who can't take a time out. Walgreens.
Welcome to School.com, the all-in-one platform for creators and educators to grow communities and deliver courses effortlessly. With School, you can combine learning, engagement, and progress tracking in one simple space. No more juggling tools, just focus on teaching and connecting. Ready to start? Scan the QR code to unlock special perks and join thousands already thriving with School.
Something amazing is happening here. In a world of data, people are accessing critical information quickly and securely. That's because CDW architects are building infrastructures with unified data storage from NetApp. With the flexibility to run workloads across any environment, providers experience less downtime, giving them more time with patients. Make amazing happen. NetApp and CDW.
All right, y'all, 53 minutes past the hour. We're in the middle of In the Quad with Nick Eden. Smoke part. Let's I want to preface this before I get to this last smoke topic. I don't say what I'm about to say as a member, a 21, almost 22-year member of Phi Mu Alpha Sinfonia Fraternity of America Incorporated. What I say from this point on is also not as a representative of Urban Edge Network. What I'm saying from this point on is strictly as Nick Eden. And Nick Eden will stand on what he says. I first want to say to the family of Caleb Wilson, especially as a person with a college-age child that is in college right now, and 5 nieces that are also in college. I am praying, I have prayed, and I will continue to pray for your strength, your resilience, and your forgiveness within this time. I am praying for justice for Caleb Wilson. However this investigation pans out, I am praying for justice for Caleb Wilson. And you all have my deepest sympathy, without question. If y'all don't know, I don't know how in the hell you would not know. Caleb Wilson was a student at Southern University. He was a member of the Human Jukebox, who was in the process of pledging Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. And Caleb they were doing a ritual off campus. Caleb passed out. They took him to the hospital. He was unresponsive and pronounced dead. Since then, social media has been on fire with so many think pieces. I have absolutely refused to watch anything on TikTok on it. I've skipped over so much on Twitter and Facebook because I didn't want anybody else's opinions to muddy or sully what I'm about to say. I knew when everything started to hit a fever pitch that I was going to do this show today. So, that being said, what I say is not in the defense of Omega Psi Phi. I'm not a member of Omega Psi Phi. It's not in the defense of the Divine Nine. I'm not a member of the Divine Nine. My fraternity is not a D9 fraternity. What I say is just looking at things holistically. There were several lives that were impacted that night. Obviously, the life of Caleb Wilson came to an end tragically. His line brothers, their lives forever affected. The undergraduate members of that chapter, forever affected. Southern University, forever affected. HBCUs, forever affected. I am not one of those, oh, we don't know what happened, but we have to let this play out. Because when it comes to anything that is an actual ritual, no, there's no hazing involved in a ritual. Whatever was going on off campus, which I don't know, I won't speculate on. What I will say is I'm not going to use Caleb in this example because shout out to AJ last night asking, what does a GDI tell their children who have interest in a fraternity or sorority? So I'm going to speak to y'all. You have got to know your personal threshold. I'm serious. I'm not justifying any hazing. I'm not. I'm saying, when I say you got to know your personal threshold, that means physically, that means psychologically, that means mentally, verbally, whatever you want to call it. You've got to know your personal threshold. And it's not just with the Divine Nine. And I ain't being funny. You go to an HBCU, your ass is pledging everything. Shit. The choir, the dorm step team, the student ambassadors. You have to know. And I'm not being funny that this young man is a member of the Human Jukebox. I know way too many juke members to say that, oh, we don't know if he's ever done anything like that before. I'm being real with y'all. We sit here and say pledge and don't go in the band. Hey, it is what it is. Not it is what it is in me justifying it. It is what it is that people are going to continue to do these things. And I have my reasons for saying why these processes should change. Exactly. Like, yeah, exactly. You got to know your personal threshold. I told my daughter and I told my nieces, if you get to college and you decide that you want to join a sorority, realize that there is a chance that may be a part of the process. And you have to know whether or not that is something that you are willing or able to do. That is a phenomenal point, Ms. Mack. It's interesting his family's not spoken out. I'm waiting for their response. That is a phenomenal point. I know hindsight is 20/20. If you ask 24-year-old Nick how he felt about pledging versus 44-year-old Nick and how he feels about pledging, you're going to get two different answers. And I'm just going to be honest with y'all. At 24, I was one of the worst ones. That's the truth. I was one of the worst ones. And I thank God for favor. I thank God for insight, humbling me, and putting me in a position where I almost lost everything. Because the trajectory of it going forward would not have been good, which leads me to my point about changing these processes. There has to be something different. There has to be something different. Let me speak first to the alumni of these organizations. Divine Nine, Business Greek, Music Greek, band, choir, football team, the military. Let me speak to y'all first. It was shit that happened to you when you were online that you never want another person to go through. Let's just be honest. You know what it feels like to go and shop. You know the anxiety. You know and I'm only speaking for Nick. You know the anxiety when you get in the cut. Let's be real. You want to know what a fucked up mentality is? I'll be honest with you. The first time I probably thought, man, there might be something wrong with me. When I didn't want to take any days off. I'm not going to tell y'all which process. Statute of limitations of it. I ain't going to tell y'all which process. When I didn't want to take any days off because I did not want my ass to start healing. Because then it was going to be sensitive again. That's the fucked up mentality that I had. You know what you went through. Why would you want to put somebody else through that? And one thing that was drilled into my head as an undergrad, you don't do to anyone else what was not done to you. But I want to take it a little further. Change the goddamn process. Because just because someone got their ass whipped to get in the organization does not mean that they are going to be a good brother. That doesn't mean that. Or a good sister. It just doesn't. There's a whole bunch of t-shirt wearers. There's a whole bunch of folks that ain't been financial since they crossed. And these are the people that these undergrads are trying. Because I'm going to tell you right now, the people who moved on and have done other things in their life, ain't nobody, don't call me about no, oh yeah, we having a meeting. A meeting, y'all better get the fuck off my phone. I mean that. Y'all better get off my phone. I got too much to lose. And y'all got too much to lose. But it's some people that have not done anything with their lives. They've made their entire identities their fraternities, and they're the ones keep going back around telling the undergrads how things were so great when they went in and how this new generation soft and all this. And now you got everybody trying to please them. Fuck them old heads. I'm going to take my last commercial break, and I'm going to come back from there because I got something to say to them.
Hey, I have a fever.
I don't feel so good either.
This is not just 1 hour delivery. This is fast relief for those who can't take a time out. Walgreens.
Something amazing is happening here. In a world of data, people are accessing critical information quickly and securely. That's because CDW architects are building infrastructures with unified data storage from NetApp. With the flexibility to run workloads across any environment, providers experience less downtime, giving them more time with patients. Make amazing happen. NetApp and CDW.
Now Taxes is getting the TurboTax app and filing your taxes yourself 100% free if you didn't file with us last year. Pay $0 when you file by 2/18. All tax forms, all 100% free. Now this is Taxes. File free in the app by 2/18 when you switch to TurboTax Do It Yourself.
November is American Diabetes Month, but we're not here to celebrate it. Join us and move us closer to a cure. Someday, we can celebrate. Until then, we fight.
Welcome to School.com, the all-in-one platform for creators and educators to grow communities and deliver courses effortlessly. With School, you can combine learning, engagement, and progress tracking in one simple space. No more juggling tools, just focus on teaching and connecting. Ready to start? Scan the QR code to unlock special perks and join thousands already thriving with School.
All right, so when I left off, I had a choice phrase for the old heads. I'm gonna say it again. Fuck them old heads. Hear me and understand me. Undergrads, you are operating your chapter now. Okay? This is across all organizations. It's across all organizations. You are operating your chapter now. What goes on in your chapter, respect to the people who got you there. Respect to them. I guarantee you, they didn't like dealing with a lot of the old heads when they weren't undergrad. Because don't nobody want to keep hearing, man, y'all ain't doing it like we did, and we ain't like that. The hell with all that. Because if the chapter gets expelled, those same old heads that y'all were caving to the pressure of are going to be looking at you like, well, what y'all do? How come y'all ain't get, man, to hell with all that. And let me say this. For those who have never had their chapter expelled before, I'm going to tell you right now, it's a bad feeling. It's a bad feeling when you go back and you see the chapter office has been painted over. It's a bad feeling when you go back and they're talking about pulling up your stone. It's a bad feeling when they take down your Hall of Fame. It's a real bad feeling of knowing that if you did, because I'm going to go ahead and say this right now, the undergrads, Delta Beta, those undergrads, the colony had to fight to get the chapter name Delta Beta back. They ain't wanting it. They gave them another one. I forgot what it was. I forgot what it was. But they were like, no, we want it to be Delta Beta. Until you had to go through that, I don't want to hear anything you got to say. There are processes that can bring your line brothers and line sisters together, that can challenge you mentally, that can uplift you, but the process has to change. It ain't got nothing to do with one of these. And I can point to one of these because guess what? This is fused to the wall. This ain't going to nobody's. This is fused to the wall. Understand me. If I have to rip this off, that's the only way it's coming off. Because I promised myself that would never touch anybody. Ever. I'll burn it up before I let somebody get touched by it. Process has got to change. Nobody sends their child to school to die. Nobody. I was so scared in November that I would not see my child alive again when that shooting happened at Tuskegee. What's scarier is there were other parents where that became a reality for them. And I can point to one of these because guess what? This is fused to the wall. Y'all don't know, man. Y'all don't know what it's like. I've had to bury a godchild. There is nothing worse than having to put a child that you held in your hands into the ground. And again, she was my goddaughter. It has to change. Because what's going to end up happening, I'm going to tell you this now. It's going to end up being a situation where Greek life for the Divine Nine is probably just going to exist at the grad level. That's the truth. Because, and I would hate for that to be the case, but some got to change. Now, let me say this. For whatever reason, and I know the reason, anytime there's any hazing death or incident that comes up, people automatically go to the Divine Nine. And I say this as a person who is a member of a fraternity that was founded predominantly white, is largely multicultural now, but traditionally has been a white majority fraternity. 83% of the hazing deaths in this country have occurred via a white fraternity. The deadliest fraternity in the world, a moniker that they were proud of for a very long time, Sigma Alpha Epsilon. Now, you might not know that organization by name, but you for damn sure remember it going viral a few years ago with the white boys on the bus singing, "There'll never be a nigger in SAE. There'll never be a nigger in SAE. You can hang from a tree, but it'll never eat with me. There'll never be a nigger in SAE." Yeah, them. That's the deadliest fraternity in this world. As a matter of fact, it wasn't 8 months ago that there was another death via SAE. But for whatever reason, everybody puts it all on Divine Nine. Now, I'm not saying that absolves anybody, because the other part about it is, once again, we do not know what happened. We don't know if this young man had a previous condition. We don't know. One of my very good friends, his line brother, pledged Alpha at State, Russia Reed, rest in peace. Russia was my dude, was a picture of health. Russia had a heart attack while he was jogging. 20 years old. We don't know what kind of health problems this young man may have had. We don't know. And again, I'm not absolving anybody of anything. But my overall point in this is the process has to change permanently. And as old school members, all you 10, 20, 30 years and up, y'all got to start checking the people in y'all era about coming down on these people about who's paper and who's made. Got to stop. It's got to stop. The other thing, for you people who have this unnatural vitriol when it comes to fraternities and sororities, do not weaponize this young man's death to get your shit off about how you feel about frats and sororities. Because if we're being honest, see, the petty thing to do will be if a lot of these folks were like, oh, that person that's talking all that shit, yeah. They're talking all that shit not because they're just so righteous and altruistic. They dropped line. They didn't make it. They weren't selected. Boy, if some of those applications with y'all signatures ever made the light of day, because there's a few folks I had to check on Facebook. You had all the shit in the world to say, and I'm like, I remember the night you ran out. I remember. Do not weaponize this young man's death just because you're trying to get your shit off. It's cruel. It's insensitive. And finally, I will say this. Because AJ's question to me last night has really hit home for me. To the parents out there, not only of the kids who are interested, but of the kids who are in these organizations. Validate your children before they allow 3 letters to validate them. A lot of these people who get into this mess and this nonsense, a lot of them go into this and they didn't have an identity before they pledged. They just didn't. That's why you see them 7 days a week. Look, I give you a little leeway when you're a Neo. I can give you a little leeway when you're a Neo. But if every time I see you, every time I see you, bro, you 5-6 years in, you ain't got no other clothes besides frat clothes. Hold on. I got one for you. I'm so sick of you silicone bracelet wearing motherfuckers. Every day you got it on. That's your whole identity. Man, something got to change. Validate these children before their fraternity or their sorority validates them for you. It should not be their entire personality. You got to have a sense of self. You got to. There's no way around it. You have to have a sense of self. Nobody needs a mindless drone wearing frat letters. You're supposed to add something to the legacy. Something positive. Change the process. Validate these children. There are kids out there who are still thinking about it, who still want it. Listen. Know your personal threshold. Know that you are taking on a responsibility. Don't be so desperate for letters that you compromise everything that you are. And again, I can't tell you that 6 to 8 weeks of an ass whipping, and it's not a constant ass whipping, but I can't tell you that 6 to 8 weeks of an ass whipping is, oh, you can do that, you can knock that out. I can't tell you that. I can't tell you that. No more than anybody can tell me. Because look, I crossed in 2003. The last time. The last time I crossed anything was in 2003. Some of the stuff folk went through in the 90s, the 80s, the 70s. Hey, bro, they might not have seen me. This might not be sitting up here right now. And I pledged on crutches. And I'm not saying that as a market. No, they didn't break my foot. I'm not saying that as a badge of honor, but what I am saying is it's not worth someone's life for you to not be willing to changed what the process is. And I'll say this before I close. There's an organization that was at Morris Brown College. I won't say the organization. And what they did was their process never involved them putting their hands on the pledges. It was extensive exercise and calisthenics, which served a greater purpose. They were involved in, everybody in the organization was involved in a particular physical activity. So calisthenics, extensive exercise benefited them in the long run anyway. But my point in that is, what I remember about those guys, and the first time I encountered them, I was maybe 14 or 15. What I remembered about those guys were they were always together. They were always tight. And this was line after line after line. And I mean, they were cold with it, man. They were cold with it. Man, the whole time they had their pledge process, them boys had on wind pants. Once I got on the other side of this and I found out what this was, and them boys were in wind pants, I said, whew, no, y'all ain't getting y'all asses whipped. But guess what? They were tight. They knew their information. They were together. They loved their chapter. They loved their line brothers. They loved their chapter brothers. What I'm saying is, you can put together a process, because I do believe in a process. I don't believe in hazing. Does that make me a hypocrite because at one point I did? Yes. Yes. But I will hope that there is a bit of growth from all of you old niggas walking around here still talking about the glory days from 20, 30 years ago. Change the process, or these organizations may not make it to 200 years. Change the process, because no one deserves to have their child come home from college in a box. And for you people who are out there weaponizing it just because you have your own insecurities, feelings, projections, whatever the case may be, you're the worst type. Because you don't care about Caleb Wilson. You don't. You don't care about that young man. You don't care about what his family's in. You've made all these think pieces so you can monetize TikTok. Your engagement farming. You don't care about him. Check yourself. Really check yourself. Listen, I want to thank everybody who took an hour and a half out of their day to check out In the Quad with Nick Eden. I will be back tomorrow. Again, I don't know that I'm going to keep this going in terms of the calendar past this week. I don't know. What I do know is it was fun doing the calendar again today. It's fun doing another smoke show. Appreciate everybody in the chat. Appreciate the texts that are coming through. And I will see you all again, same time tomorrow